All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are back. We are back. Thank you for joining us tonight on our podcast channel. I greatly appreciate that. So let me just check something else out here. Well, hold on, I subscribe to this channel. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, let me make some checks. Are we live? All right. So we good to go. We good to go. Thank you very much for joining us. I just want to make sure I check this one more time before I get going. All right, we good now. So hey, gotta do them checks. Gotta do them checks. So tonight we're gonna talk about your vice president, Kamala Harris. Now, Kamala, we know she's been MIA in the White House. We know that. And finally, some insiders came out talking about your girl Kamala. So let's get to that. So I won't keep y'all too much later. Now, there's an article that came out on CNN about your girl. And, CNN, of course, is the, official Democrat news outlet. So we all know that. So they had an article come out talking about that there was dysfunction and exasperation inside the Kamala Harris frustrating start as vice president. So they said that, worn out by what they see as entrenched dysfunction and lack of focus, key West Wing aides have largely thrown up their hands at Vice President Kamala Harris and her staff, deciding there simply isn't time to deal with them right now, especially at the moment when Jim Crow Joe faces quickly multiplying legislative and political concerns. Boy, that's an interesting thing to say about her, that they ain't got time to deal with her. She's supposed to be the vice president of the United States. She is number 2 in line if something happened to Jim Crow Joe. And you don't want to even keep up to date? So they say the exasperation run both ways. The interviews, as they were nearly 36 former and current Harris aides, administration officials, Democratic operatives, donors, and outside advisors who spoke exclusively to CNN, as they revealed a complex reality inside the White House that many in the vice president's circle fume that she's not been adequately prepared or positioned and instead is being sidelined. So we all knew Jim Crow Joe was going to put her to the side. Listen, the only reason Jim Crow Joe got Kamala up there is because he wanted y'all black votes. That's what he did it for. And somebody told him, look, you got to put Kamala up there and you can get the black vote, right? So she was used to get the black vote, but of course, a lot of people, I guess, did support them because I didn't really support Kamala like that due to her history. Because remember, Kamala said she can't only going to do something for black people, but at least Kamala admitted it and she was upfront with it, right? So continuing. So they say the vice president herself has told several confidants she feels constrained in what she's able to do politically, and those around her remain wary of even hinting at future political ambitions. With Biden's team highly attuned to signs of disloyalty, particularly from the vice president. So they're saying that Kamala is not loyal to Jim Crow Joe. Well, that's the thing. Kamala really didn't want to be a vice president, though. Kamala wanted to be the president of the United States. And we know Kamala is grimy in a lot of ways. We know, you know her history with Willie Brown and how she got all her jobs and everything like that in California. Why would she be loyal? I would want nobody around me that's not loyal. I have a big thing about loyalty. Loyalty is a huge thing for me. Like, if I don't see loyalty, I got to get away from you, because if you're not loyal, then you're going to be a Judas. That's why I'm at in life now. If you're not loyal, you're a Judas, and I can't have no Judas around me. Continuing. So they say they say she's the vice president, say she could be a year away from launching a presidential bid of her own, given doubts throughout the political world that Biden will actually go through a reelection bid in 2024. Well, he's going to be 82 years old by the time that time come around. The man barely can hang on as it is now. I really think he don't need to be running again. Right? It's something to say he's pledged to do publicly or privately, or she'll be critical validator in 3 years for a president trying to get the country to reelect him to serve until he's 86. I don't think the man gonna make at least in his memories like that. I know people that deal with some sort of dementia and things like that. That man dealing with that. He's on some medication. I know he's dealing with that because he wasn't even like this during the time of when he was in there with Obama. He wasn't like that at all. So something going on with him, right? Yeah, a lot of people don't like her, Noam King. A lot of people don't, and it's interesting. Well, let me ask y'all a question before I continue. What y'all don't like about her? We know about her record in California, but the rest of us throughout the country didn't deal with her in that level unless you're from California, right? What y'all really don't like about outside of, okay, let me be obvious. Okay, so she's not going to do something for black people. But prior to her saying that, people just didn't like her prior to that. So what is some of y'all reasons for not liking Kamala? I just want to know that. Y'all can leave that in the chat. So they say a few insiders who spoke with CNN think that she's being well prepared for whichever role it would be. They say Harris is struggling with a rocky relationship with some parts of the White House, while longtime supporters feel abandoned and see no coherent public sense of what she's done or been trying to do as vice president. Being the first woman, and they of course, they're going to always point to a woman of color. They say in national elected office is historic, but has come with outside scrutiny and no forgiveness for even the small errors, as she'll often point out. So you say any little thing that she do wrong, they on her. Kamala, welcome to being a Negro. I mean, you can say you Indian and all that all you want and black, but they're gonna focus on your black side. Barack Obama, I mean, I think he got a good lesson in that. Now they say defenders and people who care for her are getting frantic. When they're annoyed, say some pass around a recent Onion story marking her lack of substantive work. And one of the headlines said, White House urges Kamala Harris to sit at the computer all day in case emails come through. So when they're depressed, they bat down the Aaron Sorkin-style rumor that Biden may be trying to replace her by nominating her to the Supreme Court vacancy. That chatter has already reached top levels of the Biden orbit, according to one person who's heard it. So basically, what the rumor is that he's going to say, Kamala, look, I got a Supreme Court job for you. You can be a Supreme Court justice, but this vice president thing not working out for you. Boy, that's interesting. How you get fired, or even rumors of you getting fired, it's rumors, is you gonna get fired. Transferring you to the Supreme Court is firing you. Just being honest with you, right? He said she showed no love to black Americans. Yeah, of course Kamala's listen, of course Kamala's only concerned about her ambitions. Why do you think she's frustrated right now? Kamala was a classic American story of laying on your back to get ahead. Let's call it what it is. With Willie Brown. Kamala didn't really earn a whole lot. Okay? She was tied herself to powerful men at times to get what she needed. Yeah, April Ryan, April Ryan. Okay. Continuing. So they say she's perceived to be in such a weak position that top Democrats in and outside of Washington have begun speculating privately, asking each other why the White House has allowed her to become so hobbled in public consciousness, at least as they see it. They say she's very honored and very proud to be Vice President of the United States. Her job is number 2, to be helpful and supportive of the president and take on work that he has her to take on. That's what the Lieutenant Governor of California and a longtime friend has said. Okay, they said that she ended up recently going to France, which we know that. But this is the thing. They said that now listen, Kamala Harris supposed to be the person that, beyond with you, with Jim Crow Joe situation, she's supposed to be the person basically to run for president in 2024. Let's call it what it is. But nobody really likes her like that. If she runs against, let's say, a Donald Trump, get ready for a Trump presidency part 2. And the Democrats know that. So they're going to probably have to force Biden to run again. That man don't need to be running again at all. Okay. Now, where is Simone Sanders? She disappeared too. Where's Simone? I mean, prior to the election, Simone could have went start for the freaking Chicago Bears as a linebacker. Hell, we probably could use it down here with the Houston Texans. They need some help, big time. Simone could have probably helped them when she was tackling people, and Simone disappeared. Where is Simone? I don't see her online no more. I don't see Simone on CNN. Where is Simone? Y'all put out an APB for Simone Sanders. I'm worried about her. I don't see her at all. I see her in a few pictures here and there, but no Simone. You know, with that messed up hairline. I mean, whoever be cutting her hair like that is wrong for that, man. Leaving that one with that kind of hairline. Now, they continue to say that reality is more complex and looks different to people more familiar with how the White House actually works. And Harris, the first black president in decades to come to office with less Washington experience than the president, and finding her footing was always going to be hard. They said that the presidents and vice presidents and their staffs often clash. Okay? My thing is this. Why didn't she select her own staff? Why? Now, Kamala Harris, she's been a target, and she ain't been liking that either. They targeted her about the border. Biden told her she's supposed to go to the border, and she never go to the border. Like, it's some things that she could have done already. But what is it about why she won't go to the border? Why? What's the issue? Well, I know part of their plan is to import people in here, but Kamala Harris, they said that one night they said she was part of a small group Biden invited upstairs to the White House residence for the war room, making the last hours of calls. The next morning, celebrating the bill's passed, Biden singled her out, saying a lot of this has to do with this lady right here, the vice president said, but that's not exactly how things played out. Say while she attended some meetings Biden hosted it with key lawmakers, there were many more that she didn't attend, to the point that it was noteworthy that she made an unscheduled drop by one session in the final stretch. The Harris had been in Washington, only in Washington, let's say 4 years, and to White House just one time. It said being sworn in as vice president, missing out on the main means deprives her of important aspects of presidential apprenticeship from a self-styled master of how to actually get deals through Congress. So basically, put like this. They doing her so wrong that if something was to happen to Jim Crow Joe, whatever it may be, this woman clearly won't know what's going on. That's kind of scary if you think about that. She don't know nothing. You just have her there. I mean, like I said earlier about her in another piece, they put her there as a diversity hire. And how many times have you seen on jobs when they put people as a diversity hire, they don't teach them anything. They just kind of got them there. They don't do anything. It's a glass ceiling for them. They can't do anything. You understand? They said it was never just a round table. There was always a large strategic purpose. That's what Simone Sanders told the outlet, right? They said one of the round tables in late September when Harris invited Representative Nanette Berrigan, a California Democrat, to co-host a discussion with Latina business leaders in the vice president's ceremonial. Although the Congresswoman was hesitant to support all of the compromises on progressive initiatives in the infrastructure bill, the West Wing asked Harris to stress to Berrigan how much her vote was needed, and she did. So, but why is she talking to the black community? See, they all do that. This is why people are so apathetic to voting, right? They're apathetic because you don't do nothing for black people. So what is the point? What is the point? Kamala Harris has literally been put to the side. Now, another quote that says, Kamala Harris is a leader, but not being put in positions to lead. That doesn't make sense. It said we need to be thinking long term. We need to be doing what is best for the party, as according to a top donor. To Biden and other Democrats, imagining how to make the case directed to the president. Say you should be putting her in positions to succeed as opposed to putting weights on her. If you did give her the ability to step up and help her lead, it would strengthen you and strengthen the party. So basically, Jim Crow Joe, let me tell you something. Jim Crow Joe ain't forgot that debate. Y'all remember that debate when she called Jim Crow Joe out? He ain't forgot that. He's like, look, I'm gonna get you in this position, but I'm gonna sit you down and you ain't gonna do nothing. Everybody don't like you. Think about it. People don't like her more than they don't like Biden. Have y'all thought about that? And she don't do nothing. So I'm really, in a way, I'm trying to figure out why people don't like her. Cause let's call it what it is. She don't do nothing. If you say, well, that's it. What? No. I can't not like you because you don't do nothing, right? I'm just trying to figure out why people don't like her more. Well, I mean, let's keep it real. One instance is she's a woman. Another instance is no matter what her mom is, that she black. So of course they're not gonna like her for that reason. But she's not really the one out here being sent to push mandates. He is. But yet more people don't like her. Okay. So originally, it's a suspicion has sprouted out of the bitterness. A last month White House aides leapt to the defense of Pete Buttigieg, who was hammered with outrage by Fox News host Tucker Carlson and a like-minded online pundits as they were taking paternity leave after the adoption of twins in September. As a Harris loyalist tells CNN they see that in another example of an unfair standard at play, wondering why she didn't get similar cover at any of the time she's been attacked by the right. So she's saying this: nobody's defending me. I get attacked by Republicans all the time, but y'all attack him and come to his aid. See, Kamala being hung out to dry. She being hung out to dry. And you know what? That's karma, baby. You see, when we don't treat black people right, we don't do right by your people, because yes, Kamala, black people is your people. When you don't do right by your people, when you locking up mothers for truancy, when they didn't even know that, when you didn't let brothers out of jail, when it was time for them to get out of jail, talking about what you going to do about the cleanliness of the jail and keeping people in extra time, you were laughing about locking up black people, scaring black people. You remember that, Kamala? Well, now, imagine that. You get all the way up to the vice presidency and you're thrown to the side. They're not defending you. They're literally treating you like an N-word with a position. See, Kamala, if you actually did right by your people in California, everybody would come to your aid right now, including me. I would be the biggest defender of you, but you chose not to do so. And on top of that, when you said that I'm not going to specifically do anything for black people, you see, this is the thing. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to learn this, especially in the community. No matter what you got going on, don't ever, ever, ever be on the outs with your people. Let me tell you something about black people. I know my community. Black people are very loving. Black people are so forgiving. We are. We will give you thousands of chances to get it right. But when you start doing blatant things against the community and we all find out and we say, okay, that's enough. And let me tell you something. If black people sick of you, you know you've done a lot. Because it takes black folks a long time to get to that point with you. And that's her problem. She don't have nobody black defending her. And I know she's seeing it. I know she's seeing it. And it don't feel too good. I know it don't. Let me tell you something. When you are not being defended by your own community, you being the first, vice president that's a black woman, it don't feel good. It's kind of like the story from the prodigal son. You've had to leave. No, Brother Desmond, I'm not saying to defend her. I'm just saying she put herself in that position. We didn't put her in that position. If Kamala would have been about the right thing, we would have been defending her right now. And she put herself in that position. Now those Democrats got her all messed off. She being attacked left and right, and she's by herself. Eventually, she's gonna be trying to come around like the movie what was that, Queen? I'm a nigger. She's gonna be coming back like that eventually. When they done with her, this woman ain't been in office not even a year. Not even a year. Now they talk about tensions that's going on with everybody at each other's throats. And of course, because she's black, she's not gonna be called Asian. See, she called Asian when it's something for Asian people, but when it comes down to it, she black, right? It don't even matter about her husband. That's another thing. You can marry Zaddy all you want. You will never escape your blackness in this country. Never. It don't matter who you married to. By yourself, with a black person, not with a black person, you will never, never, never in this country escape your blackness. Them folks gonna let you know real quick. Don't know who you got. One drop of black blood, you black in this country. No matter your mama white, Indian, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. And she find out real quick. That's all it is to it. Another instance, Harris's team was mad Biden had assigned her to handle diplomatic relations with the Northern Triangle nations in hopes of addressing the root cause of migration to the U.S., but gave her no role on the southern border itself. As that became most visible crisis in the early days of Biden's presidency as unaccompanied minors overwhelmed federal government resources. It seemed like an all-around politically losing assignment, even though Biden has seen it as a sign of respect because it was the same job Obama had given him as president. Okay? So Kamala was mad about that. As Harris herself has said she didn't want to be assigned to manage the border, aware there was a no-win political situation that would only sandbag her in the future. But Biden's team was annoyed that Harris fumbled answers about the border, including when she gave an awkward laughing response about not visiting it during the spring. Boy. And some around Harris see the White House failed to come to her defense. That was especially galling since they had given her an unpleasant task of her first foreign trip of carrying the administration's harsh do not come policy, according to one source familiar with the workings of the office. Okay? So they say a number of West Wing aides were mad when a few weeks later she made a sudden trip to the border after her staff gave only a few days warning to the White House, particularly after White House aides had taken time to knock down the idea that she should go as a half-baked Republican spin. But this was part of a misunderstanding. White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain in a small circle of the White House aides had known about the trip far in advance, but had been careful not to spread the word to avoid leaks. Okay? So Kamala just trying to do her thing. But see, what this telling you is your political leaders are controlled in America. They're other control. These people, these staffers, all these people around you, like who are they supposed to be? Aren't you the vice president? The only one you're supposed to answer to really is the president. Who's those people around? Oh, you can't be saying this. You can't be saying that. It let you know. Because see, I couldn't be president because say, hey, all y'all staffers, you're fired. Huh? You not going to have no staffers? No, I'm going to have certain people I'm going to pick, but it's not going to be y'all. I don't want none of y'all around me. Because them people, like I said, all of them are dirty and corrupt. All of them. Now, they say Biden aides had repeatedly told Harris aides that they'd love to have her doing more and asked the vice president office to come up with plans for how to get her involved, according to people familiar with the conversations. Though the staff on multiple calls per week, the West Wing aides were often left wondering why there's not more follow-through. They said, aware of her stumbles in the ticking political clock, Harris Chief of Staff Tina Flournoy went to Klain over the summer. They were drowning. They say they needed more help. Okay? So Kamala is basically in a position politically that she can't do crap. She can't do crap. She's not going to do crap, and she knows it. Once again, this is her karma for what she has done to black people, and she don't have the defense of the black community. That's all it is to it. And, some people would say, well, understood most people don't do anything, but she wanted to be president, so she knew what it was. Well, yes and no, because let's go back to Trump. He allowed Mike Pence to do the coronavirus task force. That was a pretty big thing, actually, especially in the midst of a pandemic. Now, Trump eventually showed up at the press conferences and started doing things like that. But Mike Pence was kind of running a lot of that. I mean, if I have let's say if I'm president, I got a vice president. Man, the vice president ain't going to do a lot with me. Because number one, you need to know just as much as I know. Because if something happened to me, well, shoot, what's going to happen to the country? So you definitely need to know. Number two, I want you to go talk to these different allies, these different countries, whatever. He could utilize her as a younger woman. That's what I would do. If I was him, I wouldn't be doing the whole, man, please. But This is what she wanted. She thought, like you said in the comments, she wanted to be president, but she took vice president. Well, what I will say about Kamala, she got a problem, ladies and gentlemen. She got a problem, and we'll see how it works out. Kamala's not liking her job. Let's call it what it is. She don't want to be this sidekick, and not even even a visible sidekick. She want to be out there doing something. Biden set her up to fail by telling her about the border situation. I mean, it is utterly a political suicide right now for your vice president, Kamala Harris. She not gonna get value. Listen, y'all think she gonna run 2024? That's not about to happen. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining us on our podcast, this short podcast. Just want to let you know about your homegirl, Kamala Harris. She's frustrated. She's not getting no jobs. Nothing good is happening for her. But like I said, she didn't do right by her people. So what did she expect? No one's coming to her defense. I'm not coming to her defense. I'm just talking about the news, right, in this particular podcast. But thank y'all for listening.